so I have to put my face on the screen. Hey guys, hope you're stopping in, seeing what I'm doing. It was pretty good last night. Streaming for you guys, talking, and letting you know what it is I'm working on. I did let you guys know about a couple of projects that I have going on. I was told today from my publisher about a project that I worked on, or a project I am working on. I'm a little distracted, so just bear with me. I was told today from my publisher about a project that I'm working on where someone is doing a variant cover for this, and this person is huge. Like, huge. I'm excited for Second Place that I mentioned yesterday. Second Place is the book that Ben Goldsmith wrote that I drew, graphic novel, finishing it up. You know, it's going to get good, and it should be out relatively soon. I'll let you guys know when the release date is for that. I won't cut you any deals because this is money for me. Taking food out of my cat's mouth, in my mouth, and I like cheeseburgers and cupcakes. Can't have cheeseburgers, but the cupcakes thing, oh my god, they're like currency. So yeah, I was telling you guys about Second Place, and I'm extremely excited because the first cover for the first issue is done by a buddy of mine named Jay Fosgit. Now, Jay is just a salt of the earth human being, and he works on a book called Bodhi Troll. If you guys haven't seen it or checked it out, I really encourage you to do so because Jay's work is just masterful. He is kind of like, this guy is like way master level cartoonist, and I'm just pleased as punch that he talks to me and considers me, you know, a friend, I guess. At the very least, we're, you know, what's that word? This is what happens when you get older. You need to take ginkgo biloba. Acquaintances. At the very least, we're acquaintances. But Jay is doing the first cover for Second Place, and I'm really excited about that. However, what I was told today by my publisher for the other book that I'm working on, the Hell Pug and Velocicock book. You gotta excuse me. I'm just kind of tired and I got a lot on my mind today. I was told that there's a person doing a variant cover for that book, and their name is just gonna blow your friggin' mind. I can't announce it. When Mark announces it, then I'll let you guys know. But let me tell you, when he was like, hey man, this person's gonna be doing the cover, a variant cover for your book, I lost it. There's a lot behind this person's name, and it's like, holy shnikes, I cannot believe. Like, there were a lot of expletives that came out of my mouth. Of course, we were messaging back and forth, so those expletives did not make it into the Facebook Messenger or the social media messenger that we were using. But yeah, they were there in spirit. And I lost my mind. It was insane. Oh. Okay, so I still have that on the poly line. It doesn't mean more than one line. It means polygonal, meaning the use of polygons. And what that means is that you need to click and put the line, the turning points and Bezier points where you would like them. And that's what that is. That's why it's called a polyline or polygonal. Yes, I am that guy. So, what I'm working on tonight, I'm working on more of Warrior Sword Pilgrim Manalix. I started this last night. I told you guys that there are 3, this many, just in case you couldn't see the fingers, this many other strips for this serial that I have done. And they are available, if you look on the screen, they are available to be downloaded at that address. And just in case you can't make it out, it's https://mavericksrogues, all one word, .weebly.com. Now, if you navigate through that, you will find the downloads. There are 3 free pages. I believe they're free. I'm not sure if Alex and the guys over at Mavericks Rogues have charged people to start you getting the downloads, but there's some pretty quality stuff. It's very outside of my comfort zone. There's a sci-fi swords and sorcery martial arts serial that is just something that you wouldn't expect me to do. You ask yourself, because last night I drank water from a Gatorade bottle. Is Ed really drinking Gatorade? Yes. I'm officially sponsored. I'm probably the only cartoonist you know that's sponsored by Gatorade. No, I'm not sponsored by Gatorade. In fact, I'll probably get sued from the state of Florida for drinking that and telling people that I'm sponsored. I'm not. I need to drink more fluids. I need to be hydrated. And at some points in the day, what I'll do is I'll drink Gatorade and then I'll supplement the rest with water. My favorite, for anybody paying attention, my favorite is absolutely going to make you want to vomit. Lime cucumber. I like the way it tastes. It seems very citrus and energizing to me. So that's what I'm working on. That's what I'm drinking. Let's get to work. So I'm going to lower the opacity on the sketch page, okay? There should be swatches on the page, which I did not do. I did not put in some swatches. Poop. Where do I have swatches that you guys can see that I... How about we go to Skies? Skies has some... There we go. Swatches. Swatches. There we go. Make sure I got the right layer. Select all. Copy. Do not save. Go back to page 4. Paste it down. Bob's your uncle. Let's do this like Brutus. And you always knew this. Okay. My swatches copy I'm going to bring all the way to the top. I'm going to put it actually over my panels. The reason for this is everything works. Every layer works like it's a sheet of plastic, like you can see through it. And if these swatches are at the top and I lock down the pixels as well as lock down the panels, they will be over the panels and you won't be able to change them. You won't be able to mess with them. What those are there for is for me to reference the colors. You take the eyedropper tool, change over the colors. Think of this in terms of a brush. If I were to use a brush to ink, those swatches would represent little jars of different color ink. And this would be, the eyedropper tool would be me dipping my brush in separate containers and getting that ink on my brush. Sounds like a Jerry Lewis movie over here. Just dropped it. But yeah. So about this, let's do panel 1, homie. Let's get this going. Go to my inks layer. Bring the cover guides. Can get out of there. Out of there, cover guides. Delete them. That layer 1 is essentially the reference. It's the image that Alex Gallardo put in the Word document with what he'd like. It's just a JPEG embedded into the Word doc, and you can tap on it or you can click on it and then right click, and it'll allow you to copy from the Word document and bring it over to Clip Studio and paste it in. That's a little designer trick. So we're going to go to inks. We have our sketches right there. Incidentally, I did finish some of this. I actually finished the page last night, sketching it out, doing layouts and stuff, and I showed it to Alex, and Alex was grooving. He thought it was pretty good. He loved it. He's like, man, you totally got this. And then I explained the whole open panel and, you know, this, the one that's on the second layer and how I combined it. And he's like, do it. He's, you know, everything you've done so far looks good. We love it. Keep going. So, sketch. I need to use the eyedropper, do that, bring this back down. I need to tighten up this hand. Okay? So what I like to do occasionally is, if I'm going to mess with something that's based on an anatomy, I tend to use myself for reference. And I take a look and remember what I remember from biology and different study, like different books where I've read about anatomy. So here, we've got the green Horomus, and he's kind of being a dick. He's kind of like, well, I just beat you, and I'm going to kill you. And I'm sure he's going to say something pithy and smarmy. He's just going to, I'm sure he's going to say something really jerky. So what I imagine is, when he goes to say something jerky, he's going to say it very ego-filled. And it's going to be very smug, cocky. He's missing an ear. He has a scar over his right eye. So you'd imagine that this guy is just full of himself. Doesn't care. He's already faced death numerous times. So what? He's got the upper hand, and he's about to end, or so he thinks, he's about to end Alex's life. So he probably says something like, you know, you've come this far, you've fought so hard, and unfortunately, I have to kill you. So he's got that little hand thing that you would figure every villain, for lack of a better word, but every protagonist would throw their cocky little hands out and gesticulate, like I do when I'm streaming. So I would say, I'm about to kill you. So you see his hand. You see this, his thumb knuckle. It's very relaxed. And that's important to me. I love to convey emotion through the posing. And then I feel as though it's important for other people that are trying to do stuff like this. And when I say trying, it's not derogatory. For others that are learning to do this, for others that are trying to keep in mind how to make comics and how to tell stories visually, I feel as though it's important for them to keep in mind the realities of what they're doing. And what I mean by that is, I feel that it's important that even though they do mythology, even though they do great storytelling, and they, you know, oh my goodness, I just, I'm doing a story about a dragon donut. I get it. But I feel as though it's important that they still take into account physics and reality and anatomy. I feel as though it's important that they... Ooh, yeah, I figured out how to use a tool. I figured out how to use something. But I feel as though it's important for them to keep in mind realism. Like, yeah, you're going to have stretch and squash. You're going to have all sorts of animation techniques that you want to use. However, is it dark saturated? Yes, dark saturated is the curve. Okay, so check this out. But I feel as though it's important that they keep in mind the reality of things. What? What did I just do? That's right, I learned how to do that today. And we will take off the layer mask, and then we'll go over here, and we'll convert that. What? Oh, I'm still on that. Okay. Oh, it's an effect. It's an effect that I didn't figure out how to use. I just didn't know how to do it because the other ones in the saturated lines section of Clip Studio, you draw like an oval, but you do it with a tool, like a tool that just draws an oval or an ellipse for you, and then you create these lines based on the parameters you've put in for the tool settings, which are like how far apart the lines are, how thick they are, what the distance is on the line, and then once those are set, you can stretch and squash, twist, and you can do all sorts of great stuff. But I never figured out how to do that one because that one is based around silhouettes, based around areas that you want to highlight. That's what those lines are. Those dark saturated lines are like shock lines, or like you see them all the time in comic books. So those lines are like polygonal tools, and then when you hit enter, it knows the area that you're looking to highlight, so it draws the lines in, which is crazy. Cool. Do I have others that I'm going to be doing in there? Yes, I think I'm doing one here. Well, now I gotta wait for memory to catch up. What was that? It skipped super quick. So I was having a conversation today, which threw me for a loop. It really did. It's crazy. So what I'm about to tell you guys is personal. It's not incredibly personal, but it's a teaching moment. Okay? And when I say it's a teaching moment, what I mean is that it's an opportunity for others to learn through my experience. That's what I mean. Yeah. I appear to be talented. And there's no argument about that. I appear to be able to hold my own professionally, and I'm very lucky for that. However, on the inside, I feel like a great big imposter. And I'm sure a lot of you do. I'm sure anybody that's anybody that's learning to do this, because I'm still trying, learning. And I try to tailor my words because I don't want to be discouraging. for anyone else who's learning, you might feel the same way. You might feel as though you're an imposter. You might feel as though you're just not good enough. And I feel that way to the point that there have been discussions that professionals have had in regards to me where they ask friends of mine. It's a joke, right? Like, he really thinks that he's not good enough. And for the longest time, I haven't believed it. And to one degree or another, I still at times don't believe it. However, this conversation that I had today was really great, because I'm starting to come around to the idea that what I do and how it's perceived is subjective. And I know, I'm using big words. So let me try and dumb it down. You know, not everybody's going to like what you do. Not everybody is going to like how you do it. But there are individuals that will like it. It's art. You're expressing yourself. So in one form or another, somebody's going to connect with that. You know, you may look at another work, another artist's work, and you may think to yourself, man, I really wish that I could make my work look more like theirs. You don't have to. You don't have to, because you're you. And you're trying to spread your message. And you're trying to work your magic. Let me use some pop culture references so the kids in the audience get what I'm saying. How many Harry Potter movies are there? 8? Right? There's 8. Because there's 7 books, but they split the 7th book into 2 movies. So there's 8. There's 8 Harry Potter movies. Did Ron Weasley spend all 8 of those movies trying to be just like Harry? Did Harry spend all 8 of those movies trying to be just like Hermione? No. They did their own things. They were their own magicians. They were their own wizards and witches. I know words good. And my point is this. When you do this, when you tell stories graphically, you may not believe it, but there's a level of magic that you're performing because you're connecting, you're telling a story. You're trying to draw parallels and connect with other human beings without using words. Sure. Typographers, people are going to come in, they're going to do your lettering. Get it. I get it. But before they read those words, they see your images. So you're trying to do magic. You're trying to work magic. Now, that being said, it's natural to feel as though your magic isn't as strong as somebody else's. So you gravitate towards people that you like what they do, and you want to emulate that. Sometimes in the artistic world, you copy. It happens. You know, when you're an art student, they put you in a museum, they have you copy paintings because they want you to understand the process that the masters use in order to get those effects, to get those paintings. You know, and they want you to understand what they do and how they do it. It totally makes sense. And my point is that even though you may have to copy masters and you may like other people's work, what you do is your own. And you should believe in that, no matter how hard it is to believe in it. And so back to my conversation today. I checked my inbox, and one of my professional friends, one of the guys that I emulate, and I just pore over his work and study, and I look at it and I understand it, and I try to emulate it, and I try to use what I've learned from his work in my work, and it seems to be going really well. Well, he showed me something that he's working on, and that's one of the great things about having friends and acquaintances that work professionally. You know, they're more than willing to show you stuff and to answer questions, and that's another reason why I tell people, if you're ever talking to an artist and they're not really interested in talking to you, or they're rude, they're just not worth your time. Because we're all trying to work magic. And if you're not going to show somebody else how to do it, it's gatekeeping. That's not cool. Nobody likes a gatekeeper. So my friend shows me what he's working on. And I'm like, oh my God, I love your work. It's just always gorgeous. It's always so great. Because, yeah, I fanboy. I fanboy in my personal life. But I fanboy with a purpose. I don't fanboy to the extent that it's like, oh, I want merch. I want collectibles. I fanboy because I get it, and I understand it, and I appreciate what's being done. So, you know, my ego wants to know what this person's going to think of something that I'm working on. So I show them. Hey, look what I'm working on. I want you to see this page. And I show them a page, and I get nothing but compliments. And they're pointed and critiquing art compliments. And those are the best. It's not enough if you go out of the house in your finest outfit and you think you look amazing. It's not enough to just think you look amazing. It's not enough for somebody to come up to you and tell you, you look amazing. You want to hear, God damn, those jeans make your butt look great. Not just by random people. You know, a compliment like that's reserved for somebody that you don't mind hearing it from. You know, someone off the streets that you don't know would be like, wow, that color really does well. It makes you look so beautiful. Not advocating for people to just walk up to you and be like, yo, what's up? That's just not what I'm about. Ugh. But my point is that it's great to be recognized for your artwork. It's great to be recognized not specifically for your artwork, but for what you do and how you tell your stories. And that happened to me. Oh, hi, Emily. And that happened to me today. And it's made me start to believe in myself more. And honestly, the foundation for that has been my wife. It's not a secret. She knows. I tell her all the time. I trust her completely. There have been people in my life where I had to trust them. And it was all fine. It was all good. And then they showed me that it was a mistake to trust them. Well, not her. She's been one of my strongest supporters and best friends since I've known her. And she actually knows how to give compliments when she sees my work. Like, I like the way that you did this. And, you know, I've told all sorts of people about Second Place, shown them character designs, shown them the pages, and she's the only one. Oh, thank you. She's the only person that I've ever met that I explain all that stuff to, and she remembers characters' names. And her favorite character is Butterfinger. So when I was tasked with doing something for second place, I asked Ben if I could include my wife, and he was like, "Oh my God, yeah, do it." So she and I did something that included Butterfinger. And it's going to be up in the future for the second place series. Okay, so that hand is going to be in the foreground. And after I'm done, vetching or fawning all over my wife, who's not here. She's at work. She's probably watching me, watching my video, creeping on me. She'll message me and let me know. But, where am I going with that? I don't know. Okay, so the hand is in the foreground, right? And the hand is closer to the camera, so it's bigger. Can you see that? I can't proof it. I gotta wait for this to catch up. When it catches up, then I'll show you. And there's going to be such an awkward pause in between now and then. Anyway, the hand's closer. So when you draw it, the way that you show something being closer is thicker lines. Thicker lines indicate, oh look, there it is, that's awkward. Thicker lines in an illustration will indicate depth. Thinner lines will indicate distance. So this hand being closer, the lines will be thicker. So in order to facilitate that, I tap the keyboard a couple of times and some very special hotkeys, or what they call quick keys, and I make the brush lines thicker. Now, real rookie mistake is to copy the fingers in the exact same position 4 times. May not have known you long, but you make one of my closest friends the happiest. She deserves it. She is an amazing human being. I get squishy inside for my wife, and that's not hard to do. Well, actually it is hard to do. I kind of have a heart of stone. She'll be the first to tell you too, like, he's kind of cold at times. And that's because of the blood thinners. But, ooh, please, we don't want to do that. So, rookie mistake on the fingers, there's 4 fingers. So, a rookie mistake would be to draw 1 finger and copy it 3 other times. No. We're going for character here. So what you want to do is you want to almost give each finger its own personality, because each finger essentially does have its own personality. I mean, just think about your own body. If you're like, oh, my left hand, I remember that one time I cut my 3rd knuckle and I was using an apple peeler. You know, each one of your fingers has its own personality. And I can tell a story about this finger right here. It's my ring finger on my right hand. I was talking tonight with someone that I just found out was prior military service. They were part of PSYOPs. They were part of intelligence, which is crazy. It's just super up there. But I told her, yeah, I used to be on tanks. And we had a conversation about where we were stationed, blah, blah, blah. Story about this finger. So, you would figure that when you are in the military, you have to qualify with your weapon. You have to go and you have to go shooting practice to make sure that you still know how to shoot for, whatever. I mean, they do the same thing with tanks. It's called gunnery. Now, my last gunnery, I was in... Anybody that's prior service is going to know what I'm about to say. I was in the E4 Mafia, and I was getting ready to get out, and I thought to myself, you know what? This gunnery would go a lot better if I had burgers and hot dogs and beer and steak. So what did I do? I got a cooler and put it up in what's called the bustle rack. It's these baskets that sit on the back of the turret, and you use it to put your supplies in, like your toolboxes and your water and just your tarp for your tank and any sort of gear you put up there. But I put my coolers up there and I covered them up. And when we would be out at the gunnery and we would be getting ready to shoot, I would break out my camp stove and my propane tank and a couple of beers and make some hamburgers, cheeseburgers, and some hot dogs. I made a couple of steaks as well. It was just crazy. Well, at one point in the gunnery, the burgers were still frozen together. Because, yeah, I got the patties. I was young and stupid. What did I know? They were all together. They were frozen together. And the spatula I had was a barbecue spatula. Big lever, and the front of it had a sharp edge, and the side of it had a serrated edge. So, wait, start over. I just got here. Okay, so 20 minutes ago. Shut up, Derek. So I took the sharp edge and I went to go cut the burgers open, and I cut them, and I think I told you this story. I cut them and I cut right into my finger, and blood went everywhere. Of course, I still cooked the burgers because everybody's hungry and I gotta make sure everybody's fed. So take my finger and I apply direct pressure with my thumb, and I snap my finger like this, and I'm trying to get it to stop bleeding, and blood's going everywhere, all over the turret, just snapping and blood going everywhere. So I had to get duct tape, and I taped it down. It wound up stopping, but long story short, we went to that gunnery and we got a perfect score. So when we got done, my tank commander, Sergeant William Dill, he saw all the blood and he's like, "What the hell happened to the turret?" And I was like, "Oh, that's easy, Sergeant. Just make sure when I go that your new driver realizes that Bravo 1-4 needs a blood sacrifice before every gunnery." So that is my story about my finger. See? And that's my point. Every bit of the characters that you draw should have personality. That is actually something that I learned from the Cartoonist Toolkit, which I think Autumn put away on me, which is totally cool. There was a weekend where she came in and she was like, "Oh, I'm just going to straighten up your studio." And I was like, "Go for it," because when she gets in that mood, you don't stop her. You get out of the way because she's doing it to make herself feel a little better and to relieve some anxiety. And if you love the woman, which I do, you just move. And that sounds like the cat just knocked something off my nightstand, but who cares? Jeez. That's good, right? Yeah. Alright, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go take this and do this, and there's a trick that, watch this. Now, I used the lasso tool and selected this area right here, right? And then this little bar at the bottom popped up. Well, this bar here sets tone. Then it kicks up this little menu, the simple tone settings. It allows me to set the density, the type of tone, and the frequency. So you can go like 50 per centimeter or whatever, and it does this. And that is called halftone or zippotone for those that remember what it was I had said a while ago. Now, go to here, select this, and that just created a new layer, so I can change the color on that, and it's going to add a tone. We're going to drop that below there. We're going to rename it to halftone because I don't think I have one. I don't think I have a halftone layer in this document yet. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn on the eraser, make the tool big. I'm going to get rid of this. So I have spent my entire day setting up and prepping 5 pages at once. And you say to yourself, that's insane. Why wouldn't you do one at a time? Oh, that's easy. I like to punish myself. No, I want to get them done. I'm not trying to punish myself. Because I like to work smart, or try to work smarter, not harder. Okay. Nope. Here we go. Okay. That doesn't look too bad, right? Let me refer to the last page here. Oh, he's got that weird nose. I didn't give him like a sharp nose. Yeah. Yeah, he's got that little nose that's like, I work harder because I'm less smart. I don't know, I think you're pretty smart. I've seen you work. There's a method to your madness. It's actually pretty intelligent. Oh yeah, see, this is the panels that I'm looking at here, those are the first appearance of the green Haruns. So his scar runs from his eyebrow to down near his chin, so I have to fix that. And then his nose is a lot different. So what we're going to do, let's fix that. And then this is easy enough to fix because change the line a little bit. There we go. Oh wait, that's a super bad tangent. Let me pull this out. Clean this up. It helps also if you get used to doing this. Like, you can spot what's going to look good and what's going to look bad. It gives you, you understand when you, yup, look at that. That looks so awesome. Oh, and then I can stay on that inks layer. I think I have the eraser set, so if I use this, I can go like like that. Those lines overlap. So we'll do this. Smaller lines will add a little bit of character and just make things look a little bit not a halftone there, a little bit of inks. Just make them look a little better, you know? Smaller lines, adding texture. I mean, they don't have to go everywhere. They just add character, intrigue almost. See, look at that. Dude? What? Oh, that's not the right line. If this comes out, it needs to go right about there. You gotta love that erase tool. You just have to. It makes your life so much easier. Saturated line, I'm on that. Oh. And then there's the guy that feels as though he does not need to switch from eraser to pen tool, or vice versa. That overlap in those saturated lines, I feel like it creates drama, but it's just kind of unnecessary. It almost breaks like a plane. It almost overlaps the two realities, you know. So I'll have it there. I'll keep it there. Look at that. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 panels in this one. What time is it? 6:52. Wow, have I been talking that long? Yeah, you have. You got a big mouth. So let's go to the next panel. Go on inks. Do we have a pen? Got a pen. Watch this. Consistency is key. Copy, paste, deselect, go over here and put this in there. Yeah, we're gonna have to do that, then go here, select that, and then go up to inks copy. You see how your eyes feel right now from looking at that overly saturated red? That's what I'm telling you. Like, that is why that's why I lower the opacity when I'm using the sketch layer. Okay, well, boys, I'm going to get going. I got an incoming call. I will talk to you later. Have a good night. Hey, babe.